In the early 14th century, Anatolia was a region divided into fragmented Turkish Beyliks and remnants of the Byzantine Empire. This patchwork of small states, often embroiled in internal strife, created a unique opportunity for those with the ambition and power to expand their territories. Among them was Osman I, who laid the foundation of what would later become one of the most powerful empires in history. However, it was his son, Orhan, who truly began the empire's rapid expansion, particularly into Anatolia. When Orhan ascended to the throne in 1326 after the death of his father Osman I, the Ottoman Empire was a modest force compared to the empires of the world. Yet, Orhan recognized that in order to build a strong and lasting empire, his focus needed to be on consolidating power within Anatolia. The Turkish Beyliks, though numerous, were weak, fragmented, and often at war with each other. This disunity created a significant power vacuum that Orhan was quick to exploit. Orhan's first major conquest came in 1326 with the capture of the city of Bursa, a highly strategic and economically important location. Bursa had been an important Byzantine and Seljuk city, and its fall to the Ottomans marked a symbolic victory. For the Ottomans, it was more than just a city. It was a statement of their rising power. The city became the first Ottoman capital and was a beacon for future expansion into the rest of Anatolia. After securing Bursa, Orhan set his sights on the surrounding territories. One of the key elements of his success was his ability to blend military might with diplomatic strategy. Rather than simply conquering and destroying the neighboring Turkish Beyliks, Orhan sought to form alliances and absorb them into the growing Ottoman fold. He employed a strategy of co-option, offering protection and support to local rulers in exchange for loyalty. This tactic allowed him to expand his empire quickly while avoiding the resistance that might have come from direct conquest. Orhan's military campaigns were formidable. His forces, which combined traditional Turkish cavalry with newer, more advanced tactics, were able to defeat the smaller, less organized Beylik forces. By using a mixture of surprise attacks, siege warfare, and intimidation, Orhan systematically dismantled the power of neighboring Turkish principalities. One by one, the Beyliks fell either through military force or political subjugation, and many of the local rulers either joined the Ottoman ranks or submitted to Ottoman control. In addition to his military tactics, Orhan's leadership skills also shone through in his governance. He established a centralized system of government, which was crucial for maintaining order as the empire expanded. He ensured that his military conquests were followed by administrative reforms, which helped maintain stability in newly conquered regions. Orhan understood the importance of economic integration for a growing empire. By improving trade routes and investing in agricultural development, he laid the groundwork for an economy that would support future expansion. One of Orhan's most important achievements during his reign was his ability to navigate the delicate balance between conquest and diplomacy. As the Ottomans moved deeper into Anatolia, Orhan found it increasingly important to establish alliances with powerful local families. In addition to his military prowess, Orhan also formed strategic marriages, including a particularly significant alliance with the Byzantine royal family. He married the daughter of a Byzantine prince, which not only solidified his legitimacy but also gave the Jidavlaba Ottomans a stronger foothold in the Byzantine-ruled territories. These alliances and his shrewd diplomatic maneuvers allowed the Ottomans to steadily grow in both power and influence. With the fall of Bursa and the subsequent expansion into Anatolia, Orhan's reign marked the beginning of a new chapter for the Ottoman Empire. His vision for a unified, centralized empire and his ability to combine military strength with diplomatic strategy set the stage for future conquests. The Ottomans were no longer just a small tribe. Under Orhan, they were becoming a formidable force in Anatolia. His leadership proved that with the right combination of strength and diplomacy, the Ottoman Empire was poised for even greater success. Orhan's reign laid the foundation for the vast empire that would follow, but it was his ability to turn the fragmented, war-torn Anatolia into a cohesive, powerful state that would serve as the cornerstone of Ottoman prosperity for centuries to come. The conquest of Bursa and the successful consolidation of Ottoman territories into a unified empire were the key achievements that set the stage for the rise of the Ottoman Empire into a world power. As Orhan's reign continued, the Ottoman Empire began to rapidly expand across Anatolia, and his military campaigns were central to this growth. After the successful capture of Bursa, Orhan knew that to secure the empire's future, the neighboring Turkish Beyliks had to be dealt with decisively. These Beyliks, though often fragmented and weak, held significant territories that Orhan could not afford to leave in the hands of rival rulers. Therefore, his military strategy combined both force and diplomacy, and soon the Ottomans' territorial reach extended far beyond their initial base. One of Orhan's most successful military strategies was his use of heavy artillery and siege warfare, technologies that were still emerging in the early 14th century. Orhan understood that with the rise of gunpowder weapons, particularly cannons, the traditional methods of siege warfare would need to evolve. This strategic use of artillery, combined with the mobility and discipline of Ottoman forces, gave the empire a significant advantage over the smaller, less organized forces of the local Turkish Beyliks. These advanced techniques allowed the Ottomans to break through defensive lines and rapidly capture cities, cementing their growing power. But Orhan's military success was not solely dependent on advanced weaponry. His forces were also made up of highly skilled soldiers who employed highly effective military tactics. Orhan's cavalry, in particular, became one of the most powerful components of his army. The Ottoman cavalry was not just a traditional force, but also a well-organized unit that could move quickly, strike unexpectedly, and overpower the weaker forces of Anatolia's smaller beyliks. This mobile force allowed Orhan to launch raids and surprise attacks, which often led to the swift conquest of enemy territories. The Ottoman Empire, under Orhan's leadership, began to absorb and dismantle the remaining Turkish Beyliks one by one. The Germanids, Saruhanids, and Mentashides were some of the first major Beyliks to fall. Their rulers, who had once been independent and powerful, were either defeated in battle or absorbed through diplomatic means. Orhan's strategic alliances with local rulers allowed him to incorporate many of the region's smaller powers into the Ottoman fold without much bloodshed. The integration of these territories into the growing empire not only expanded Ottoman land, but also helped stabilize the region by creating a sense of unity and purpose among the Turkic-speaking people of Anatolia. Orhan's next significant conquest came in 1331 with the capture of Nicaea, an important Byzantine stronghold. Nicaea had been a key city for the Byzantine Empire, and its fall represented a crucial blow to the Byzantines' influence in the region. The city's capture also marked the Ottomans' first major victory over the Byzantine Empire, which had been in a state of decline for centuries. With Nicaea's fall, Orhan's forces were now in control of important trade routes that linked Anatolia to Europe. This provided the Ottomans with both strategic and economic advantages, further strengthening their position in the region. Orhan's victories against the Byzantine Empire and other Turkish Beyliks also marked a significant shift in the balance of power in Anatolia. The region, which had once been dominated by a number of independent, often warring Turkish states, was now under the control of a single powerful entity, the Ottoman Empire. Orhan's success in integrating these various states into his empire through both military force and diplomacy ensured the Ottomans would remain dominant in Anatolia for generations to come. Perhaps one of Orhan's most remarkable achievements was his ability to maintain stability in the newly conquered territories. Rather than ruling with an iron fist, Orhan employed a pragmatic approach to governance. He allowed local rulers to maintain some level of autonomy, provided they acknowledged Ottoman supremacy. This approach fostered loyalty among the local population and avoided the kind of rebellion that often followed forced annexations. Orhan also implemented a centralized system of government, which included a well-organized bureaucracy to manage the growing empire's affairs. This administrative structure would prove to be one of the key factors in the long-term success of the Ottoman Empire. While Orhan's military victories were critical to the expansion of the Ottoman Empire, his diplomatic acumen was equally important. Through strategic marriages and alliances, he ensured that the Ottomans remained connected to other powerful entities in the region. One notable marriage was his union with the daughter of a Byzantine prince, which provided the Ottomans with valuable connections and bolstered their legitimacy in the eyes of other states. This diplomacy, combined with military victories, allowed Orhan to solidify the empire's presence in Anatolia and set the stage for future expansion. By the end of Orhan's reign in 1362, the Ottoman Empire had transformed from a small principality into a powerful force in Anatolia. Orhan's combination of military prowess, diplomatic skill, and strategic alliances had laid the foundation for the empire's future success. His reign marked the beginning of a period of rapid expansion, both in terms of territory and influence, and set the stage for the Ottomans to become one of the most dominant empires in world history. As Orhan's reign came to a close in 1362, the Ottoman Empire was no longer the small, emerging principality it had once been. Under his leadership, the empire expanded significantly and underwent substantial transformations that would shape its future trajectory for centuries. Orhan's military victories, diplomatic strategies, and administrative reforms provided a solid foundation for the Ottomans to become one of the most formidable powers in the medieval world. One of Orhan's most lasting legacies was the establishment of a powerful military and bureaucratic system that would serve as the backbone of the Ottoman Empire for centuries. The military reforms that began during Orhan's reign would later be perfected under his successors. One of the most significant innovations was the creation of the Janissary Corps, an elite standing army composed primarily of Christian boys taken from conquered territories through the Devshirme system. This innovative approach to military recruitment provided the Ottomans with a loyal and disciplined fighting force that would become one of the most feared in the world. The Janissaries were not just soldiers. They were also the core of the Ottoman civil bureaucracy, holding key administrative positions in the empire. Orhan also implemented a series of legal and administrative reforms that helped consolidate Ottoman power in Anatolia. He introduced a system of local governance that balanced the authority of the central government with the autonomy of local rulers, which helped to integrate newly conquered territories while minimizing resistance. This system allowed the Ottomans to maintain control over vast and diverse lands, from the mountains of Anatolia to the fertile plains of the Balkans. Furthermore, Orhan's reign was marked by significant economic development. He recognized that for the empire to thrive, it needed a strong and integrated economy. Orhan promoted trade, especially through the city of Bursa, which had become a key commercial hub after its capture. Under his rule, the Ottomans established important trade routes connecting Anatolia to Europe and the Middle East. This not only boosted the empire's economy, but also facilitated cultural exchanges between different regions, contributing to the rise of Ottoman art, architecture, and culture. Orhan's reign also saw the consolidation of Ottoman power in the region. The conquest of Nicaea in 1331 and the subsequent fall of key Byzantine strongholds ensured that the Ottomans were firmly entrenched in Anatolia. The weakening of the Byzantine Empire, along with the collapse of the smaller Turkish Beyliks, left the Ottomans as the dominant power in Anatolia. Orhan's military successes were followed by diplomatic efforts to ensure the loyalty of the newly conquered regions. By forging strategic alliances through marriages and treaties, Orhan ensured that the Ottomans were viewed as a legitimate and powerful force by other regional powers, including the Byzantine Empire and neighboring Turkish states. Despite his military and administrative successes, Orhan's reign was not without its challenges. The rise of the Ottomans threatened the balance of power in the region, and they faced opposition from both within and outside their borders. The Byzantines, in particular, viewed the Ottomans as a growing threat and sought to reclaim lost territories. However, Orhan's diplomatic acumen and military prowess allowed the Ottomans to hold their ground and expand their territories further, eventually leading to the capture of Constantinople nearly a century later. By the time of Orhan's death, the Ottoman Empire had firmly established itself as a dominant power in Anatolia. His reign marked the beginning of the Ottoman Empire's transformation from a small tribal confederation into a centralized state with a strong military, a sophisticated administration, and a thriving economy. Orhan's legacy lived on in the policies he implemented, the military reforms he introduced, and the diplomatic strategies he employed. Orhan's success in consolidating power in Anatolia paved the way for his successors to continue the empire's expansion. His son, Murad I, would go on to conquer much of the Balkans, while future sultans would build upon the foundations Orhan laid to create an empire that spanned 3 continents and lasted for over 6 centuries. Orhan's reign demonstrated that with the right combination of military strength, diplomacy, and governance, the Ottoman Empire could rise to become one of the world's greatest powers. The expansion of the Ottoman Empire under Orhan's leadership not only changed the course of Anatolian history but also laid the groundwork for one of the most influential empires in world history. His military and diplomatic strategies, his economic policies, and his administrative reforms would continue to shape the future of the empire, ensuring that the Ottomans would remain a dominant force for centuries to come.